I'm Dave Sanesteven for 360soco.com, and we're here today with Chris. Chris, tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself, and a little why you're here with the Trinidad Community Foundation today.
Well, I'm here to represent the Trinidad Community Foundation. It's been around in the city for about almost a decade now, since 2006. Yeah, I guess more than a decade. And in that time, well, we do a lot of things. We give grants, we receive grants to do programs in the city. In the last 10 years, we've, either through the grants we've given or the grants we've received and invested in the city, we've invested probably in excess of $700,000 in the city so far. And so we engage in a lot of projects and a lot of partnerships. So there's a lot of nonprofits and organizations in town that are up to good things. And they just need a partner to help, either with manpower or a few extra dollars. We do all of that, but we're all about improving the quality of life in Trinidad.
And can you talk about some of the non-for-profits that you work for in the city of Trinidad?
Well, basically, most anything that you've heard of, from SCRT to Noah's Ark, all the nonprofits that are in Trinidad, and I don't have a count on them, but I know there's at least 30 or more. Arcade, all of that, the Mitchell Museum, you know, all of those are nonprofits, and one way or the other over the last 10 years, we've invested or partnered with almost all those organizations.
And how do people partner with TFC? You help them with grants, you also help them to gain their nonprofit status. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we're a community foundation, and that's a little bit different than another kind of foundation. It's specifically designed, community foundations are specifically designed to foster development of other nonprofits in the community. It allows organizations that are up to a good cause to work under our umbrella, under our nonprofit umbrella, without having to apply for their own nonprofit status, do all the paperwork, accounting, audits, and all the stuff that comes with being a nonprofit. They can operate under our umbrella, and many organizations do that, and then once they're on their feet and they're really solid, many times then they do go out on their own as a separate organization. An example of that was Arcade. They operated under our umbrella for a number of years, and then just this year said, we're big enough, successful enough, and solid enough where we can go on our own, and they went and applied for nonprofit status, and so they're operating on their own now.
How many times a year do you have a grant cycle, and what are your deadlines?
Well, it's basically once a year.
Okay.
And so this particular grant, though, that I'm talking about today is not one from TCF. It's from the city of Trinidad. And maybe another time we'll talk about TCF's process. But it's important now because the deadline and the period of time to apply is so short. I wanted to get the word out to everybody in the city to really apply. We just started accepting applications earlier this week, basically April 1st, and it ends May 1st. So there's only 1 month period of time to prepare and submit a grant. The grant money comes from the city of Trinidad. It's this year they've allocated roughly $20,000 to go to nonprofits, and because of that, and they've been doing this. I should mention Trinidad City Council in the Trinidad City has been doing this for a number of years now. But typically, they were the ones reviewing all the grant applications and having the conversations with the different...
To try to help the nonprofits out in the community.
But this year, they decided there are two things. They said, first of all, we're very busy. We have a lot to do, and we don't have the time to submit our working meetings and our city council meetings to grant applications because there's so much other business to be done. The other thing was they wanted to stay back politically and personally, keep arm's length from the people that are applying. So they came to us this year, just after the first of the year, and said, would you guys be willing, since you know how to do this, would you be willing to administer the program? So we're administering the program for the city of Trinidad, and we're hoping we get a lot of people applying.
So tell us a little bit about the process, the deadlines, and when you guys will be announcing who's going to get the money and some of the money limits, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, we've already passed. There's 3 key dates, and we've already passed the first one. It starts April 1. Okay. So we're in the midst of accepting applications right now. The deadline is Monday, May 1st. That's only a month. Now, the next date is May 17th. That's going to be the date when the awards will be given to the various organizations that won a grant. So those are the 3 important dates. The key one being May 1st. You have to have your application into the TCF office by 4 p.m. on May 1st. Okay. And the reason and a little, if I can give a hint to people that are considering applying, it would be, please send in your application before the deadline. We literally get 90%, every time we have a grant cycle, 90% of our applications come in the last day. And that's not bad so much, except occasionally we have somebody that forgot to do something in the grant application. They didn't submit a certain paperwork that was needed, or they didn't sign a form, or they didn't do something. And if the grant application is not complete, it can't be considered. But if you can get it in a day or 2 ahead,
so you guys can go over it.
So Margaret, our director, goes over every grant application that comes in. If she sees something missing, she's immediately on the phone or sending an email to people saying, hey, I noticed you're missing this in your grant application. So if there's a little hint there,
you want to try to help them out by them getting it in.
Yeah, it really breaks our heart, because we have to be fair, and we want to be fair. So, and if people need help with filling out the application, we'll help them fill it out. But it just needs to be complete. To get a grant application, we don't send them by mail. There's basically, there's 3 ways to get them. You can stop by the Trinidad Community Foundation office. It's above the Chamber of Commerce, 204, Suite 204. It's on the 2nd floor above the Chamber of Commerce.
At the John Building.
Yeah, and they can go to the office and pick up an application. There are applications at Carnegie Library. They can walk in there, ask for a City of Trinidad grant application, or they can email Trinidad Community Foundation. The email address is info at Trinidad Community Foundation, trinidadcf.org. They send an email, said, please send me a grant application, and out it goes by email. The application itself is a 3 or 4 page form, but the other documents are required to do that. So your final application is going to end up being, 6, 8, 10 pages or something like that.
What nonprofits are eligible for these grants?
Any nonprofit that serves the citizens of the city of Trinidad. That's how what the city, what do they call that? When they made a proclamation, but that was the way they phrased it. That we want any nonprofit that primarily serves the citizens of the city of Trinidad is eligible. They have to be a nonprofit organization, a 501c3. They cannot be promoting political or religious, information or anything of that sort. The money that's given cannot be used to pay salaries or fees to somebody, and the cap is $2,500. Because there's $20,000, and we want that money to go as far as we can in the city. This year we put a cap of $2,500 so that we can make sure we are going to at least hit 6, 8, 10
multiple nonprofits.
Multiple nonprofits in the city, not just 1 or 2 or 3.
Well, Chris, once again, thank you for stopping by and talking to us at 360soco.com. And once again, give us your email address for more information about TCF, this grant loan application, and your website.
Yeah. The website is trinidadcf.org, and the email address is pretty much the same, info at trinidadcf.org. And they can stop by the office in the John Building on the 2nd floor, 204, to pick up one, or Carnegie Library, or email us, and we'd be glad to do that. and I thanks the opportunity. Trinidad's got a big heart, and we want to make sure we support that.
Thank you very much. This is David Sanesteven for 360soco.com.